super intelligent.
There's no such thing as a typical day looking after a dingo. They behave in a different way. They just are very much their own person.
Unlike a domestic dog where they're highly dependent on their owner.
That they just cannot accept that it's possible for someone to be walking around with pure dingoes.
These are dogs. They were cats in a dog suit, and that's what they are. That's what we say are.
Dingoes. They are Australia's top natural predator and one of our most iconic native animals. Research shows that they inhabited our land at least more than 5,000 years ago. However, their long-standing existence hasn't paved the smoothest road for them, thanks to uneducated opinions and misconceptions. Dingoes are currently considered threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Scientists and organisations are screaming for dingoes to be rehabilitated and repopulated back into the wild, because dingoes are so vital for our ecosystem in Australia. Organisations are currently trying to take a stance on this issue. Some organisations are using research and conservation techniques trying to keep the dingoes' wilderness instincts intact, while others are using people for help and encouraging people to have dingoes as pets. This documentary aims to show you the two sides of rehabilitating dingoes, but nevertheless showing you how vital dingoes are for our ecosystem.
The dingo in the ecosystem. There's a lot of research being done at the moment which shows how important top order predators are in the ecosystem, and the dingo is Australia's top order predator, and as such they're able to keep the ecosystem in balance. So what the dingo does, the dingo keeps down kangaroos because that's his favourite food, and they'll eat kangaroos before sheep and before cattle, so they will keep down kangaroos. They also instill fear into cats and foxes. They will kill some, but cats and foxes are frightened of them, so cats and foxes won't go out and predate where there are dingoes. So once you've got that happening, you've got the animals that foxes and cats eat are suddenly protected. So you've got your small animals like your hopping mice, your bilbies, your tiny wallabies, all your little small marsupials are suddenly protected because the dingo's there.
Now if you look at the map at the back of the wall there, you'll see that there's 3 dingoes in 3 colours, and there's some zones on the map. The zones on the map indicate, we now know from DNA studies being done here, that there are 3 kinds of dingoes. And of course it's all to do with the fact that the country is so huge that the terrain does change, the habitat does change, that the prey species does change. And because of that, the genetic pool changes a little bit too. The blue area that you see on the map there represents where our alpine dingoes are found. And they are the seriously endangered dingoes in Australia. Why? Because they come in contact with people who farm sheep. That green area of Australia is the only part of Australia we haven't lost a species since the coming of Europeans. It's a very, very difficult part of the territory and nobody cares about it. So nobody's poisoned the dingoes because the dingoes don't worry anyone. And so, lo and behold, a full array of biodiversity from the top to the bottom. Birds that you haven't seen, night parrots, everything. Area of Australia is the red area there, and that's a desert area, and that we say those are our inland or desert dingoes. They are not endangered at all because we don't want their habitat. So we don't bother to kill them there, and they generally are left alone there, and somehow they survive. They are so easy to track. All got to be done by 16 weeks, and then you have to ask. You can never command. You can, and you've got to pay. If you don't pay, we don't play. The biggest difference between every dog and our dingo is that the head of the dingo is the biggest part of its anatomy, the widest part of its anatomy. Its chest is always narrower. I have noticed that Snapple's got these amazing ears, and when the wind blows he turns them that way. But if he wants to listen to what's going on behind him, he just turns around that way. And he can. And you know what? He's heard everybody's heartbeat in this room. 30 paces, a dingo can tell if a human's heart is healthy. But have a look at his eyes. Now, if I put his head down like that, you can see how they're on an angle, 45 degrees to his skull. Now, your dog at home can look you right in the face. He never stops looking at you. And we put our hands on the side of where his eyes are. Look, he's got 180 degrees. We've only got 90. So without turning his head, he can see a rabbit's tail flicking over there. That is, and it's more than any of our domesticated dogs. All of our domesticated dogs' eyes have come forward, because for south of you might have got a look from snaffle. He might have looked you in the eye. It'll be no more than 5 seconds, and he will know straight away if he can't trust you. And then he won't look at you again. But a dog, of course, is the direct opposite. The dog never stops staring at you. He never stops. So you know that physiologically they are very, very different to our dogs. Our dogs cannot get themselves into those positions. Snaffle's able to also turn his head right over the back like that, like an owl, like an owl.
Okay, they differ from domestic dogs. First of all, they don't have a body odour. That's very nice. They're very easy to toilet train. They're longer than what they are taller. And the other thing is, on the tip of the tail, he's got a little white bit. And that's what they all have, that little white speck there on their tail. Or so, with some of them, it's much bigger. And also, they behave in a different way. They just are very much their own person, and they won't come back when they're called until they're ready. And when they're ready, they come back and love you. Yeah, they're thieves, they steal things, and they molt dreadfully in spring. The legal requirements in Victoria are that one must obtain a permit from the government to keep a dingo. And that permit involves having an escape-proof yard with 3-metre high fences and either concrete at the base or a return in of half a metre of wire netting that's attached to the base of the fence, and suitable sleeping arrangements for the dingo. And pay for the permit, which is, I think it's 150 in my case because I get a concession. I think it's about 250 for the ordinary person situation. You have to have a certain mindset where I can cope with their disobedience and I can laugh at it and I don't take revenge with them. That I just say, well, what could have I done to prevent that from happening? And it's very important to be the boss of that pack, to be the alpha.
So the whole dingo as a pet, we take that statement with a lot of caution. We know of people that have them as pets, but they're a special kind of person. So when you see, things that the media put out, like the Sydney organisation, it wasn't so much about what the organisation was doing, it was more so how it was portrayed. Their headline, they make the perfect pet. It's, not quite. You definitely need to be a special kind of person to understand that the dingo firstly isn't a domestic dog. And then once you understand that, I feel that the relationship between the human and the dingo transitions more to companionship rather than to be like an owner and a pet. And I think the other thing on top of that is they've never been domesticated. They are a wild canid. If you're not aware of this, if you're not aware of their, for instance, climbing abilities or their digging abilities, their food requirements, when you see things like that in the media, it just makes you think, oh yeah, they're just like a dog. But we know, being, working with them on a weekly basis, that they're far from it. They are part of the same family, but they are definitely very distinct from the domestic dog. So typically we say no, not for everyone. Don't start, getting puppies as Christmas pets. That would be a disaster. But I suppose as the special kind of person gets all the information first. They set up the enclosures and do all of that. They have that responsibility, I suppose, of understanding the bigger picture of actually owning a wild canid, And I think that's our whole aim here, is to really